Hi students, welcome back to the video tutorial of business research method. In our previous video, we discussed the concept research design, its meaning, essential concepts related with the research design, stages of research design, etc. In this video, we are going to discuss about descriptive and causal research design and basic methods of research design. So, first we can discuss descriptive research design. Descriptive research design is a type of research design which helps to determine or describe the cause of something. I repeat, a descriptive research design is type of research design which helps to determine or describe the cause of something. The main aim of descriptive research design is to observe, describe and document the details of a particular situation. To observe, to describe and to document the details of a particular situation is the main objective of descriptive research design. So, descriptive study acts as a starting point for hypothesis generation or theory development. We already discussed what is hypothesis. So, descriptive study acts as a starting point for hypothesis generation or theory development. Now, we can discuss the main features of descriptive research design. So, the first feature is descriptive research design are used to observe, document and describe a phenomena in original manner without any manipulation or control. That means descriptive research design helps to observe, document and describe a particular situation in their original manner. This type of study is designed to gain more information about a particular field of study. This study provides a picture of a situation as it occurs in natural setting. Descriptive research design study the variable as they exist in the natural world, which means this type of research design does not involve the manipulation of variable. Now, next feature is descriptive research design are used to develop theories, identify problems with the current practices, make judgments or determine alternative solution for the existing practices. So, while using descriptive research design, the researcher can make judgment or determine alternative solution for the existing practices. Descriptive study uses several methods to prevent bias. Some of them are by selecting large sample size, by using random sampling technique, by using valid and reliable tools of measurement and by taking formal data collection procedure. So, these are the main features of descriptive research design. Now, we can discuss the steps in descriptive research design. The first step in descriptive research design is to define the question or problem that is to be answered. The question should be formulated with precision or utmost care. After the formulation of a problem, the researcher should define the universe or population. Universe or population means the whole area of study. It must be decided. Now, next is selecting the sample. Sample is the representation of population, so it must be appropriate. Now, next is the researcher should decide what data should be collected and what method of data collection is used. After the collection of data, it should be coded and tabulated. So, it is the another step. Data should be analyzed with suitable statistical methods and based on this analysis, conclusions are to be derived. So, this is the steps in descriptive research design. I repeat the steps in once more. So, first one is formulation of the problem of study, define the population or universe, select the sample, design the method of data collection, analyze data and result. Next is causal research design. So, this is the second one, causal research design. Causal research is a type of research which seeks to find out the cause and effect relationship between variables. So, in this we underline cause and effect relationship. So, while conducting causal research design, the researcher can find out cause and effect of a particular situation. In business, causal research is used for conducting many types of research. If a causal research is performed well, marketers may be able to use results for forecasting what might be happen if the changes are made. So it is very suitable for the marketer to make an appropriate decision. Now, causal research has mainly two objectives. They are understanding which variable are the cause and which variable are the effect. Determining the nature of the relationship between the causal variable and the effect predicted. So, this is the main objective of conducting causal research, for understanding which variable are the cause and which variable are the effect. It is the most important. Now, next we can discuss the components of a causal research study. They are research problem, research questions, program, units, outcomes, design. That means first the researcher can find out the research problem, then making research question based on research problem, then find out the program or course, then identifying the units or population. In this unit, researcher conduct research. Based on this research, there is an outcome or effect, and based on that, the researcher make a design. So, these are all about descriptive and causal research design. Now, the next area of discussion is basic research methods. When a researcher selects a research design, either descriptive or causal, then the next step is to select means of gathering data or methods of collecting data. There are mainly three basic research methods. They are survey method, observation method, and experimental method. So, we can discuss each method in detail. Survey is the first method. Survey method is a device for collecting data or factual information of certain desired characteristics of a universe. Surveys can be useful when a researcher wants to collect data that cannot be directly observed. Survey means to ask questions or a series of questions in order to gather information about what most people do or think about something. I repeat, survey means asking questions or a series of questions in order to gather information about what most people do or think about something. So, we can say that a survey is used to know or get the opinions of a large group of people about a particular topic or issue. Now, we can discuss the features of survey. The main features of survey method are: it is a field study. Survey seeks responses directly from the respondents. Surveys can never be a huge population. It is an extensive as well as intensive study. Survey covers a definite geographical area. Once again, I repeat, the main features of survey methods are: survey method is a field study. It seeks responses directly from the respondents. It can never be a huge population. It is an extensive as well as intensive study. It covers a definite geographical area. Now, we can discuss the main objectives of survey method. Mainly, survey is conducted to provide information or to describe the situation. So, this is the first objective. Next objective is explaining a particular situation. Next one is problem identification and solving. Next is to measure the change, to study attitude, behavior and habits of the people or population. Next objective is to examine the cause and effect relationship, to study characteristics, to formulate and test a hypothesis, to make decision. So, this is the main objectives of survey method, or this is the reason why we conducting a survey method. Once again, to provide someone with the information they needed to explain the situation, problem identification and solving, to measure the change, to study attitude, behavior and habits, to examine the cause and effect relationship, to study the characteristics, to formulate a hypothesis, to test a hypothesis, decision making. Now we can discuss types of surveys. There are mainly two types of surveys. They are cross-sectional survey and longitudinal survey. So first we can discuss what is cross-sectional surveys. Cross-sectional surveys are used to gather information on a population at a single point in time. Cross-sectional surveys collect information from a sample that has been drawn from a predetermined population. Now the second type of survey is longitudinal survey. Longitudinal survey gather data over a period of time. That means the respondents are asked questions at different moments in time. The main objective of longitudinal survey is to examine the continuity of responses and to observe changes that occur over a period of time. Now we can discuss the types of longitudinal survey or types of longitudinal design. There are mainly three longitudinal designs. They are trend study, cohort study and panel study. So first we can discuss what is trend study. Trend study focuses on a particular population which is sampled and scrutinized repeatedly. In other words, different samples from a population whose members may change are surveyed at different point in time. This is trend study. So, trend study helps to understand the current trend of the population or current trend of the sample. An example of trend study is yearly survey of students. Here survey is conducted over a long period of time. In trend study, population is same but sample is changed. Here look the example, students community is the population but the sample is changed each time. That means students is changed. Next is cohort study. In cohort study, population and sample is not changed. In other words, cohort study is take sample from the same class for every time. Suppose a researcher take a sample of students from 2004 batch. Every time he take the same sample. Now next is panel study. In this study, the researcher survey the same sample of individual at different time during the course of the survey. In other words, the researcher surveys the same sample of individual at different times during the course of the survey. These are the important types of longitudinal study. Once again, there are mainly two important types of surveys are there. They are cross-sectional surveys and longitudinal surveys. Then longitudinal surveys has again three classification. They are trend study, cohort study and panel study. Now moving to the next topic, that is methods of survey. There are mainly two methods which are used in survey. They are census method and sample method. So first we can discuss census method. When a researcher conducting a research, he study the entire population. This method is known as census method. In other words, census method involves a complete study of all units of the population. Census method is used mostly in connection with the national population and housing census. Other common census includes agricultural, business and traffic census. So simply we can say that a survey that measure the entire target population is called a census. Once again, a survey that measure the entire target population is called a census. So we can say that census method is the method of statistical enumeration where all members of the population are studied. A population refers to the set of all observation under concern. For example, if you want to carry out a survey to find out students' feedback about the facilities of your school, all the students of your school would form a part of the population for your study. So I hope you understand what is census method. Now we can discuss the advantages or merits of census method. High accuracy and high reliability is the first advantage. While using census method, It ensures high degree of accuracy than other technique. It provides complete information because each and every item is investigated carefully. So it is very reliable method of data collection. Then the next advantage is suitability. This method is very suitable when the population is small. Now the next is intensive study. Census method completely examine each unit and gather important data for intensive study. Now next advantage is it is indispensable. Census method is indispensable in certain cases where other methods cannot provide reliable and accurate research. And now the next advantage is heterogeneous unit. A census method is applicable to examine heterogeneous units. So these are all about the advantages or merits of census method. Now we can discuss the main disadvantages of this method. It is very costly. So this is the first disadvantage. Then next is time consuming. Census method consume more time and labor to complete data collection task. Next is unsuitability. This method is not suitable or even the universe is large. It is suitable only for small universe. Now the next one is chance of error. There must be high chance of statistical error while using this method. Now the second method of survey is sample method. So first method is census method, then the second one is sample method. Sampling is the process of selecting representatives in a population and provide conclusion based on sample. So sample is a unit that is selected from population. This sample must represent the whole population. Now the next discussion is characteristics of a good sample. As I already told you that a sample is the representation of total population. So it must possess some characteristics. They are: sample must be small in size. Sample provide adequate information about the whole population. Sample take less time to collect and it is very less costly. Now we can discuss the main merits of conducting sample method. It is an economic viable method as it is less costly. It saves time and it requires only less manpower to collect data. Then the next advantage is the result of the census method may be checked with the help of the sampling method. In case where the population size is too large, the sampling method is easy and more practical. We can use it to make estimation about population characteristics without even surveys all units of the population. Now next discussion is demerits of sampling method. If the sample is not properly conducted, it might lead errors and an unrepresentative result. Sampling normally generates an error due to leaving out of units from the population. If a crucial unit is left out of the sample, the resulting error will be large. If skilled persons are not available to interpret the data, the result drawn will be unreliable. So these are all about demerits of sampling method. Now we can discuss some other popular survey methods. That means apart from census method and sample method, researcher uses some other methods for collecting data. So first we can discuss fact survey method. Here fax is used for collecting data. It is one of the most feasible method. Response rate and speed of response is very better in fax survey method when it is compared with any other conventional method. Next is internet and email surveys. Nowadays internet and email survey is more common. Here internet and email is used for data collection. It is more feasible and more preferred by the researcher for collecting data. Next we can discuss the merits of survey method. The main merits of survey methods are: this method is very helpful to collect a lot of information from different types of individual. This method facilitates drawing generalization about large population. Survey method is useful to verify theory. Survey method is very simple to administer. Data obtained are very reliable in this case. coding, analysis and interpretation of data is relatively simple. Now some demerits of these methods are: the feasibility of survey depends upon the willingness and cooperation of the respondents. If the respondents are not cooperate, the researcher cannot conduct the research more smoothly. Next demerit is this method is subject to sampling error. Error may be occurred while conducting this method. Next disadvantage is the result of the survey are subject to respondents error. Then chance of measurement error. There is a chance for measurement error. It is not suitable for studies related to historical survey. This is other disadvantage. Then next disadvantage is it is expensive. When compared to other method, it is expensive. Now we can discuss some questions which is related with this area. They are: what is descriptive research design? Explain the steps involved in descriptive research design. What is causal research design? What are the major components of causal research design? Explain the features and objectives of survey. Explain the important types of survey. Explain the important methods of survey. Explain the merits and demerits of survey method. So once again we can rewind today's class. Firstly, we discuss what is descriptive research design, what are the steps involved in descriptive research design. Then we study causal research design, major components of causal research design. Then we discuss features and objectives of survey, important types of surveys, important methods of survey, and last we discuss merits and demerits of survey method. So hope you get an idea regarding this concept. Okay students, now we can wind up this session. Thank you and see you in the next class. Okay, bye.